We've been going on this series of RPG Elite qualities, and we've been on this particular quality. RPG Elites always are striving to become better. None of us think that we have arrived. We are trying to do just that 1% better in every session that we attend. And we know we have those sessions, right, that just don't quite hit it like we'd like for it to hit it. They were good, they were fun, but there's always a level of excellence that an RPG Elite is striving for. And in the last video, I talked about how being prepared is one of the things that RPG Elites do to help get to that next level. And I gave you some standard things. These are the beginning things of preparation. Like if you're gonna prepare for anything, you should have prepared for those. If you didn't watch that video, I would highly recommend before you watch this one to go ahead and watch that one so you can get up to speed. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. This is RPG Elite. My name is Servant of Shiloh, and this is a place where I focus on putting the RP back into RPG by giving you tools, tips, tutorials, and real talk about the tabletop RPG space and culture. And today it's more of a tips, commentary, real talk kind of video. We're gonna get straight into these next three, which are three aspects that are just really gonna help you in your preparation and really gonna up your game when it comes to your tabletop RPG sessions. These are not necessities though. I'm gonna say that off the bat. They just are those elements that if you really wanna take your game up to that next level, you wanna go pro, well, these are the things you're gonna add to them. So let's get started with Number 1. Now, I need to say that these are in order of importance. And so if you're gonna add them in the order that I am going to present them to you in this video. Now, I know this one right here is probably perplexing some people because sound is that important. Yes, it is that important. And if you're gonna add any sound to your campaign, then you're gonna add one of three types of sound to your campaign: music, ambience, and sound effects. So why would I say that music and sound is so important? Here's the reason. When music is introduced, it triggers dopamine in the brain through the auditory cortex. This, in turn, activates the limbic system, which is responsible for emotion. Now, I know that there are many people in the tabletop RPG space that just can't quite connect emotionally to people, but that's across the board, and that's people in general. We have been less of a society that can connect emotionally with one another. And so that's the thing. But music helps to break down those barriers, and adding music to your session may just help loosen up that player who has been very stiff, maybe even standoffish to some point. Maybe they're just don't know what to do. Well, adding music, even when they don't realize it themselves, probably is going to make them connect at least a little bit, even to the most hardcore. It will make them connect emotionally. You see, this is what RPG Elites are looking for. We are looking to have not only an immersive and more enjoyable tabletop RPG experience, but one that is emotional and substantive. Those four pillars right there, we're always striving to bring all of that into our tabletop RPG sessions. Now, I didn't know if you knew this, but here's a fun fact. People on YouTube will tolerate mediocre video, but they won't tolerate mediocre sound. It's a top aspect that motivates people to click away from a video. And that's because when it comes to descriptions, instructions, commentary, and clarification, it's more important to hear than it is to see, because the mind can make up an image. So, moral to the story is, if you're going to add music or any kind of sound, make sure you have a sound check. Make sure that everybody can be heard, that the music can be heard, that all your ambience can be heard, all of that. So when the session goes, all you really have to do is click a button. And this is where players can get creative. I've got one of my players who's done this in my One Ring campaign. Let's say you're a bard and you play a flute. Well, a player who is creative, maybe a little bit RPG elite, will go and find music when the group is maybe at a campfire, or maybe they're traveling, or maybe they're at a tavern and it's time for them to show their stuff. They're gonna have a playlist of music that they play, so it will help draw in the whole group, or at least that player, into this world to really become part of it. That's what I'm talking about as far as being RPG elite and using these elements of music to do so. Ambience are those extra sounds that add atmosphere to a setting. A fireplace crackling on the hearth, the soft hum of machinery in a factory, the noise of construction happening down the street. These elements quicken the imagination and make it active. Sound effects have a similar impact, but in an accentuated way because of how short they are. They are meant to bring attention to it. It's the whip crack, the dog howl, a loud gunshot. When you're adding sound effects on top of music and ambience, I'm telling you right now, there is no describing anything in the world that can even touch that. I am so sorry, but I agree with MC Hammer.
Can't touch this.
Now, some of you may be saying, wait a minute, you're gonna add sound before you add maps? Yes, because sound has more of an effect emotionally with people than maps. They just do. It's just the way that it is, y'all. And again, RPG elites are looking for the most immersive and most impactful session that we can have. And if we're gonna add any of these extras, the first one's gonna be sound. Now, these are visual aids, so they fall into the area of imagery, but not images per se. These are special kind of images. And yes, they do help with your immersion, and they're interactive in terms of engagement. So that's what makes them very powerful. When it comes to maps, there are only 3 categories to use. You got your world, regional, and battle or encounter maps. World maps are those pretty things that give the players a visual of the macrocosm they inhabit. In some cases, like in the game Alien, the world map is actually a star system. In other instances, the world map is actually the world we live in, Earth, or something similar. But these are in the background most of the time, and only relevant in certain situations. Providing them when needed is what an RPG Elite GM will have on standby, and it will always just kind of be there lurking. Next are regional maps, which would be a country, or a state, a neighborhood, or a village. These are slices of the world map pertinent to the characters for a particular adventure. And last but most certainly not least, where many people spend way too much time on, in my estimation, but I digress, are the battle maps. These maps are used exclusively when something is about to go down. It's about to hit the fan, y'all. And they can happen anywhere. A crypt, a mansion, a forest, a city block, you name it, it can go down there. And that brings us to the other tool that works hand in hand with battle maps, specifically, or more popularly, tokens. The tokens, and they're sometimes called sprites in other areas of the world, they represent PCs and NPCs on a map. You can have a group token for a world or regional map, and individual tokens for battle maps. They are used primarily for positioning, to know where everyone is in reference to the terrain during a battle. If you're in a live situation, you can use paper, plastic or metal miniatures. If you're using a virtual tabletop, these are normally represented as top-down 3D tokens or 2D pictures in a circle, square, or some other kind of shape. And like I said before, they're interactive. Players get to move things around the map. I'm going to move my character here. How far is it from here to here? What's the range? All of a sudden, everybody's paying attention, everybody's involved because they have to be, because it's going down and things are changing rapidly during a combat. And that's why maps and tokens are rather cool and great for immersion. So this last one is a special category that you can only use in a virtual tabletop. But I'm telling y'all,
that's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
This is one of the coolest things that you can prepare for your campaign or your session, and it's visual effects. This is why people play video games so much and they get so into it. It's all the flashing and all these things happening. Visual effects really keep your players' attention on the screen. What was that flash right there? Or hey, what's that little effect right there on them? Was that an arrow that just flew across there? You can't help but pay attention. It catches the eye. And when it catches the eye and keep people immersed and paying attention to what's going on, then you've got people drawn into the world. Now, the major one that I use for my VTT environments are JB2A's animated assets, which you can hit up at their website and Discord channel. I'll have both of those links down in the description below for this video. Now, if you're gonna add these elements to your campaign, then you wanna make sure that they're not intrusive. Like, don't have the music up so loud and then people can't hear one another. Or don't have your sound effects go off and then, you know, pop somebody's eardrum. Yeah, let's have them unobtrusive, but add to the session, add to the atmosphere, add to the story. All right, well, y'all, if you've gotten any value out of this, learn maybe a little something. Can you do it, brother solid? And could you just crush the like button? Because that would be nice. Also, you want to stick around, then go ahead, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And I have a question of the vid for you. Have you ever added any of these aspects to your campaign? And if you have, what has been your experience? I want to know, let me know down in the comments below. Hey folks, that's going to be it from me. And if you have a session this week, then happy gaming, y'all. I hope it's an RPG elite session, but you know what time it is. It is time for a brother to do a snuggle puss.
So exit, stage left.
If you missed any of the other videos, not to worry, here they are. I gotta get out of here, y'all. Peace. 5,000 leads. A brother is, say it now, howdy.